Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Cobra Convos. I'm your host, Ethan Hall. Today, we're diving into something we're really passionate about here at CCC&TI, and that's adult learners. In this episode, I got the chance to talk with Dr. Lauri Stilwell, who is the Director of Adult Learner Initiatives here at the college. We covered some of the big questions and challenges that adult students face here at CCC&TI. We also talked about some of the resources we have available here at the college for adult students that will help you succeed, and we even discussed how experience you already have might convert into college credit. So if you're an adult thinking about coming back to school or starting for the first time, you're in the right place. And remember, for more information, you can always visit cccti.edu. Hello, Cobra Nation. Welcome to the first episode of Cobra Convos. This episode, we're talking about adult learners, and we have Dr. Stilwell here to walk us through the process and what being an adult learner is all about here at CCC&TI. So Dr. Stilwell, why don't you define what an adult learner is?
Typically how we look at adult learners here at CCC&TI is someone coming back to school who is generally 25 years old and older. There can be some variations on that. We look at adult learners as those students who have children lots of times, families, spouses, other people to take care of, maybe, of course, part-time, full-time jobs. And so 25 years old is not always like the strict cutoff. Obviously, people below 25 have children, and so that makes them an adult learner too. Basically, it's those students coming back that have the adult responsibilities that a traditional college student does not.
So if you're an adult learner here, you talked about a little bit of the challenges that might look like. What support does a student have when they decide to come here?
There are a lot of supports in place, particularly for adult learners. We call it the Center for Adult Learner Success here at CCC&TI. And what that really means is that the adult learner has a support system in place from the time that they enroll all the way through till they complete. That can consist of lots of different things. There are many resources here at the college that we can fall back on to help students when they encounter bumps along the way. There are lots of resources in the community that we can refer students to. There is just the general support. Each adult learner has a success coach. And that would be me. When they hit little hiccups along the way, or problems with class, problems with transportation, childcare, all kinds of things like that, often there are things that we can do to help. So there really are some different things in place that can help the adult learner kind of manage and navigate a little bit better. And the adult learner has to have a lot of plates spinning all at one time. So we try to assist with that as much as possible.
And maybe you can talk about the financial aid that's available for adult learners. What does that look like?
Well, we have a couple of different things. Of course, most students, when they come in, have already applied for FAFSA. And if they have done that, then we can refer the student for our foundation scholarships, which there are many, many of. We also have emergency assistance resources in place. We have something at the college now called the CARE team that we can refer students to. There are many external scholarships that we can also refer students to. A lot of times I am able to point students in the direction of help with groceries or gas, things of that nature, depending on the circumstances. The point in all of that is that we don't want for example, a flat tire to be why somebody stops out of college and can't go on. Yeah. We want those things that happen to all of us to not be the thing that stops a student dead in their tracks and just, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. So we have things like that in place that, like I said, often can really help the student get past that hurdle.
What is one challenge you think you see the most that adult learners have to overcome? I
would have to say, although there are many, I'd have to say that time management is probably something that, as adults, we all struggle with from time to time. But with being an adult learner, particularly in the beginning of their journey, it's really hard to know how much you can bite off. And I try to advise students to kind of dip their toe in, if you will, start out slow, take 1 or 2 classes in a semester, particularly if you're taking an online class and you've never done that before. See what you can handle. See what you can handle with the kids and the job and the, what all ever else is going on in your life. We all have lots of stuff going on. We all have lots of circumstances to deal with. But the biggest thing that I run into with trying to help adult learners is that they bite off more than they can chew. And, we've all done that before. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes an overwhelming situation where it feels like it's just too much and they drop everything.
Yeah.
So if adult learners can kind of take it slow, take a few hours, like I said, 6 hours, that would be 2 classes typically. That's a good way to start. And then see how you manage that with all your other time constraints, your schedule. And then the other thing that you often have to account for is those things that you don't know. None of us know what's coming,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So a lot of times illnesses and things of that nature come up, and it really derails students fast.
It's hard to juggle schoolwork and college work with life, even when you don't have all those extra things.
Exactly. It's a lot. And then, all of us know as adults that things, they just happen. Mm-hmm. On a Tuesday afternoon is when the rug sometimes gets pulled out from underneath you. And we've all experienced it, but it's different when you're in school and you've made that commitment.
Yeah.
And you don't always have the option of putting school first as an adult who has other responsibilities. And I think a lot of times adult learners may think school is going to be the answer to everything. And sometimes it is, and that's great. But it really is all about timing. It has to be the right time for you. And it has to be, you have to have other things in order. And you have to have support. If you have the support, that's a big, big piece of it too.
So what does that support system look like for a successful adult learner?
Well, this is obviously my opinion, but having worked with adult learners my whole career, I would say that on the personal side, you have to have lots of support. If you're married in a relationship, I would say you'd have to have a lot of support from that individual. I would say family-wise, you have to have support, particularly if you have children. You're going to have help with that at some point. You have to have cheerleaders. You have to have people that are really on your side and pushing you to do what it is that you want to do and knowing that that's the right thing for you. Yeah. So, of course, you have support on the school side, like I just talked about. I think support comes in all kinds of ways. The instructors here are phenomenal when it comes to working with adult learners and supporting them. And they use flexibility. They're really understanding, and they really do want you to succeed. So that support is in place from the time people enroll. But it is the personal side of things that you really have to decide, hey, do I have these people, do they have my back right now so that I can go do this?
Yeah.
So it looks different for everybody.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break from that conversation and talk about something that could be really useful if you're a student or planning to be a student here at CCC&TI. If you are a North Carolina resident and your household income is less than $80,000 a year, you could qualify for the Next NC Scholarship. This scholarship helps by covering a significant, if not all, of the fees, tuition, and other related costs that is associated with coming to community college. The best part about this scholarship is that it is not a loan, so you don't have to pay the money back. If you want to learn more about the Next NC Scholarship, visit cccti.edu or get in contact with one of our financial aid team members, and they would be happy to assist you. All right, let's get back into the discussion about adult learners. We just talked about if you're an adult, you're busy.
Yeah.
You got life, kids, spouses, jobs. And one thing that helps with that schedule is online options.
Yes.
So can you talk about the online options that we have here for adults?
Sure. We have a lot of online options at CCC&TI. It's incredible to me every semester when I look at what all we've been able to do to provide that flexibility for adult learners. And it's great for adult students. It was when I was an adult learner. It is for anybody who has the responsibilities that we've been talking about. The thing about online learning is that it is not for every single student. And it really depends on the class. It depends on what your strengths and weaknesses are academically. There's just a lot of factors that go into the success of online courses. If you're a student who has had a lot of success with online learning, that's great. But it does take getting used to. Mm-hmm. It does take planning. Because you're online, in my opinion, there is no less time and or work involved in it than if you were coming to class, in the seat. Some people prefer to be in front of an instructor. Some of us are fine with being online. The flexibility piece and being able to do it whenever you can get to it, 3 o'clock in the morning, sitting in the line picking up kids from school, there's a lot to say in terms of pros and cons. There's definitely a lot of pros. The cons, I think, come in when students are not particularly good at communicating with their instructor. And when they have questions, it's harder for them to speak up, reach out, connect. They sometimes don't feel as connected, I guess you would say, to the instructor. There are a lot of ways to go about the online classes that are a little different. But I think it's a great option for adult learners. I think it's just a personal thing that involves lots of factors like I just talked about, how prepared you are for that, how long it's been since you've been in school, and how good you are at asking questions and then following up on those kinds of things and getting the help that you need.
One thing that has a lot of different nuances around it is credit for prior learning.
Yeah.
And that usually gets wrapped into the adult learner side of things. So Can you talk about credit for prior learning?
Credit for prior learning is not something brand new to us. It's been around for a while, but it is something that we have taken a renewed interest in and efforts toward advertising and making sure all of our adult learners know about that option. We do have it as part of our website now, so hopefully students can get more information about credit for prior learning. But basically, what it entails is, hey, let's look at what you are bringing to the table with you, and let us see if we can give you any credit for that. That might come in all kinds of different forms. There's military experience, there's high school articulated credit, there are challenge exams, there are nationally recognized exams, and then there are certificates and licenses from industry. They recognize a lot of licensures and certifications, like I just mentioned, that can actually give you credit. So if you've had experience in your job, there are sometimes ways that you can get credit for some of that past experience that could apply to your goals here. It's worth looking at.
Yeah.
And it could save a considerable amount of time and money. And so it's really something that is a great option, particularly for adult learners who've had that experience.
So to boil it down, it's basically you have life experience from a job or the military or something like that, and then you bring it here, and then we determine if that could apply to college credit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Really cool.
Someone is out there and they're interested in coming to CCC&TI. They're an adult learner. They're checking all the boxes to see if they want to come here, if they can. What is the first step?
The first step, I would think, is to look online. And when you go on our website, there are lots of different ways to get information depending on what your questions are, particularly about programs, what you might be interested in. And we even have things in place to help people who really don't know what program they're interested in, which does happen. Reach out to someone here like myself. My name and contact information is on the website under adult learners. But anybody here in student services is eager to talk to somebody that wants to come back. You can dial 726-2200 and ask to speak to somebody about adult learners. And that's what we do. We talk to those people every day and we tell them what to expect, kind of what they need to have in place, and talk about timing and all the things we've talked about today. And hey, come in, have a conversation with us.
If you have any questions about being an adult learner here at CCC&TI, you can reach out to Dr. Stilwell. Her contact information is below in the caption. You can call us, you can email us, visit our website. It's all in the caption. We look forward to seeing you here. Thank you for joining us today. Subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Well, that is a wrap on the very first episode of Cobra Convos. Thank you so much for joining us and learning about the world of adult learners here at CCC&TI. Before we sign off, I want to let you know about a couple of important dates, whether you're a current student or someone looking to enroll here in the spring. Our spring 2026 schedule goes live on October 13th. So if you're a student here, go ahead and make an appointment with your advisor and get your spring planned. Whether you just graduated high school or if you're an adult learner looking to come back, this would be a great opportunity for you to learn about what offerings we have. So go to cccti.edu/admissions and apply, and we would love to have you here for our spring 2026 semester. Another date to remember is October 20th. That is our Foundation Scholarship Priority Deadline. Foundation scholarships come from our foundation office, so you don't have to pay the money back. And it's really simple to apply for them. All you have to do is fill out a few questions and write a 200-word essay. And you only have to submit one application for dozens of scholarships. So remember, October 13th is when our spring 2026 schedule goes live, and October 20th is the priority deadline for foundation scholarships. Put those on your calendar, have your phone remind you about them. These are the important dates coming up. Just like Dr. Stilwell and I talked about during this episode, college can feel very overwhelming, but we're here to help every step of the way. Just reach out. All of our info is in the description below. Thank you for joining us for Cobra Convos, and we'll see you next time.